Hi there! So, as you may or may not know from my social media, it's been about a year since I shaved all my hair off. And so this video is going to be, I guess, celebrating that by sharing 5 things that nobody tells you before you go bald. Or maybe it's things that people did tell me and I just ignored. But here is 5 things that I learned after shaving all my hair off. Lesson number 1. It is chilly. So, for whatever stupid reason my foolish brain as of a year ago thought, it's still very much stupid now, but yeah, I thought it would be a good idea to do it at 8 PM in late October, which in England is pretty cold time of year, and it's also pretty dark. So I mean, we did it outside and there were sort of like lights reflecting on my head which made it shine like the moon. Yeah, I don't really know how much more I can elaborate on it, but be prepared that it is a lot colder and hair does in fact warm you up a little bit. The second lesson I learned after shaving my hair off was I probably should have done more preparation in knowing actually how to get myself bald, because I mean, I think I just did a quick Google on the day and figured, yeah, that would be alright, but I sort of wish that I got a professional or someone that knew what they were doing to handle it, because essentially what happened for me is my friends were hacking away at my head with a blunt pair of scissors and then using a razor that kept running out of battery. We probably exhausted the razor because it wasn't quite used to shaving off that extent of hair. But yeah, I think if we had someone that knew what they were doing around, maybe a professional or something, we could have made the ordeal a whole lot less traumatic and take a lot less time, because it took a good hour or so, maybe 2. Oops. Lesson number 3. It is awkward phase after awkward phase after awkward phase. So yeah, I started off by looking like an egg, or maybe more like a ping pong ball to be honest, because my head is quite round. Yeah, so then I had, little bits of stubble, and it eventually came to having a full head of hair, and beyond that it was sort of like I looked a little bit like a penguin. I mean, maybe I didn't look like a penguin, but I had like penguin kind of fuzz, and then I had a mullet, and then a longer mullet, and yeah, now it's sort of at this, it's the bottom parts are reaching my shoulder, and here is what my hair looks like now, if anyone's interested. Probably not, but I shall undo my hair anyways. This is my hair at the moment. It's kind of not at its peak quite yet, but it's also not the worst that it's been, and yeah, I think that one thing to note is that every strand of hair sort of grows at the same rate, essentially. So I've got bits that only go up to here, bits that kind of go down to here, here, and then eventually down to my shoulders. So it's not really worth cutting quite yet, because if I tried to cut it so it was all the same length, it would only be up to this, and it would just look like a lot less progress. On to lesson number 4. It might sound a bit obvious, but everything is a lot more exposed, which is something that I hadn't really taken into consideration much before I shaved my hair off. So one thing I hadn't quite realised how much I did was when my hair was quite long and down to about there or so, I used it to sort of cover up if I had spots on my face or if I was feeling insecure about my looks or anything. And I think it was quite difficult when my hair was short that, I didn't have anything to hide behind anymore. And I mean, I always thought that my hair was one of my favourite features, and for that all to go, it was quite upsetting, and it was a bit difficult at times. But I'm really fortunate that so many people around me are so supportive, and not many people, if any at all, they just don't care. They're just like, I'm still the same person regardless of whether I've got hair or not. Lesson number 5. Plan what you want to do after you've gone bald in advance, because I sort of forgot that my hair would grow back, so I threw out quite a lot of my hair products, which, funnily enough, I needed all the more when my hair started growing back. Lesson number 5. Plan in advance what you want to do after you've turned bald and stuff. I know it's not really predictable what your hair's going to look like after that, especially for me, because I was just used to having my hair long all the time. But I sort of tried to organise it so that I would be bald around Halloween time, so that I could dress up as wonderful characters. In the end, I don't actually think I did anything for Halloween because of my severe lack of friends. But anyways, enough about my tragic life. But yeah, after I started growing hair back, there were so many things that I was like, oh, I should have done that whilst I was bald, or, you know, things like dressing up like Homer Simpson. I mean, I know he has, you know, 2 strands of hair and zigzags down his back, but that's so much easier to do when you're bald rather than having some hair. I mean, I guess it's quite subjective, because if you don't like dressing up or aren't that into Halloween, maybe it's not necessarily for you. But yeah, that's one thing that I think I wish I did more beforehand, and sort of like being able to shave more patterns into my head whilst it was shorter, because it grows back a lot quicker than I thought it would. So I missed out on that, because I had a full head of hair after like 2-3 weeks. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe and comment for more of my creative projects, or, you know, music arrangements and compositions and things like that. Thank you.